Maybe 8:30.
And it's supposed to last like all day.
No.
If maybe it'll get on the there before. I was gonna say.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the City of Benton Harbor Commission meeting to order. I'd like to begin with the invocation by Commissioner Adams, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, Commissioner Singleton.
Father of all heaven and earth, of all thy universe, we come before you boldly asking that all decisions that are made here tonight are made in the righteousness of all people involved. And moving forth, we ask that you continue to look after us, over us, protect us from all harm, seen and unseen dangers. And we ask these things in Jesus' mighty name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This brings us to the roll call. I yield to the city clerk.
Commissioner Adams.
Present.
Commissioner Clark Griffin. Present. Commissioner Edwards.
Present.
Commissioner Henderson. Present. Commissioner Henry.
Present.
Commissioner Isom.
Present.
Commissioner Singleton.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Seeds. Mayor Mohammed.
Present.
You have the quorum.
This brings us to the approval of minutes. Is there a motion for the approval of February 6, 2023,
Motion to approve with exception.
and closed session minutes, February 6, 2023?
So moved.
Motion is made by Commissioner Henderson. Is there support? Supported by Commissioner Edwards. Madam Clerk, please
I would
call the
like-
roll.
I would like, if I may, Your Honor, attempt to go back and revise those minutes. The motion that was made to accept the motion that was passed to accept the resignation of, city finance director. I'm just attempting to do something that I've never done, and I'm really not sure of its order. But I think that it's something that we really need to revisit after making a decision to put out another search, when we should offer this man another opportunity to serve this community, because looking at what we're spending,
Commissioner Adams, that would have to be done with a rescission of the actual resolution.
well, that's what I'm asking, if we could rescind it, please.
That's not done in the approval of the minutes.
Okay, where is it done, sir?
That would have to be done with a resolution presented to the city council to rescind the resignation or accepting the resignation. That would have to be done in that manner. The approval of the minutes.
Okay.
is something.
Thank you, sir.
Motion has been made by Commissioner Henderson and has been supported by Commissioner Edwards. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Commissioner Isom.
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton.
Yes.
Commissioner Adams.
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin. Yes. Commissioner Edwards,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
This brings us to the approval of accounts payable. Is there a motion for the approval?
Motion to approve.
Motion is made by Commissioner Adams. Is there support?
Support.
It is supported by Commissioner Singleton. Madam Clerk, if there's no discussion
On accounts payable,
on accounts payable,
I have
the chair recognizes Commissioner Adams.
and through the chair, my question is to the gentle lady of the third ward, if she had in fact gathered answers to some questions that she brought up, because I think it's high time that we start counting our pennies.
Those answers were sent out.
Okay, I didn't see them and I checked before I came, but I would really like to see a list, if there is a list, if that list was sent out.
Manager responded to the email.
For the approval of repairs to the trucks, our trash trucks, because they're brand new trucks. And we've had a lot of repairs. Gentle lady of the first ward received those. You did?
Thank you.
I'm looking.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Henry.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank staff for responding to my inquiries on those AP. And I'll also say to my colleagues that that is our information. And what I found that one question leads to another. So, and the more questions that we are informed on, the better decisions we'll be able to make. So, I thank staff for providing that information for us.
Call for the question.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yeah.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
This brings us to our update, monthly update from our county commissioner, the Honorable Mamie Yarborough.
Do I use this?
Please.
Good afternoon. Honorable Mayor Mohammed, commissioners, residents, I thank you for this opportunity to come and just bring you up to date on some things. A couple of months ago, I told you that the city of Benton Harbor, the city of Niles, and Cornerstone Alliance had applied for a grant and that it had been approved. And I'm here to tell you the money is here. It was $2,600,000. We received, had a resolution and accepted this money, Berrien County did, on February 16th. And it's a RAP grant, which means Revitalization and Placemaking Program. It's for place-based infrastructure and mixed-use development projects within the downtown of the city of Niles and the city of Benton Harbor. And so there are going to be good things happening for us. And I just want to let you all know that the money is here. And it will be divided equally, $1,300,000 per city. And Cornerstone Alliance is involved in it and helping to run it. And Berrien County will be the fiduciary and the bank that it will be, or an account that it will be placed in. Then I'd like to let you know that Berrien County received a Sparks grant, and it's to the Berrien County Parks Department. And it was $850,000. It's going to be used at Silver Beach. And what we're going to use it for is a playground. Our playground is 30 years old. They've done all they could to keep adding things to it. And you even are concerned nowadays about the ground that they're on. It'll be tires or something that won't hurt the children should they fall off. And this equipment is built for little babies and for teenagers. And so it's going to be a little bit probably more over a dune towards that new shelter. But they've been looking at it. They're looking for shade. There's some shading above it. This equipment is over $1 million. The $850,000 will be used, and Berrien County has a parks millage. We were able to do that, and we put that money in other places. So we'll use that money to make up the difference of what it's going to cost to do that. And please look forward to Silver Beach. There are many plans for it. There's not a lot of things that we've done. We've maintained it well, but there are a lot of things that are needed, and it's going to happen. A new building, especially the concession stand, it is used mightily. And we want to do some things that'll make it more to the weather. You don't know what the weather's going to be, but we have a lot of plans and drawings and things. And the way the money is flowing, and I hope that it continues, we're going to be able to do that. It may take a couple of years, but it will happen. And then I want to talk to you about the taxes. And you said that's all she talks about. Well, you need to know. You need to know what you can do to keep your property. You need to know what you can do to get some more. Other people are buying property from Berrien County as far as way away, I don't know how far, New Mexico, but out of the country probably also. And now that it's on the computer because of COVID, we went with a company that does counties. And it's on the computer, you can see everything, you can bid, you can continue to watch it and get in on this thing. This time, there are some structures left. A lot of times it's just vacant land, but there are some structures. And what I want to let you know, let me see if I can keep this straight. You have until March 31st to redeem your property or to make a payment plan so that you can continue to pay on it and not lose it. This year in the sale, as of today, there are 480 properties that will be in the sale. But by March 31st, there will be a number of things that will have happened that hopefully will bring the number down and it will stay with people. On February 14th, 2023, and that has already happened, it goes into court and the judge listens to you if you want to talk about what you want to do, and he works to enter a payment plan for you, or say if you don't pay it by 3/31, then it's in the sale. I'd like to let you know that our treasurer has set up some local appointments. What will happen is on February 18th, and that's over, at Niles Library from 11 to 2, she was there, and people could come and individually, privately talk with her and enter a payment plan. You have one more chance. On March 11th, at Benton Harbor Public Library, which is right across the street from 11 to 2, Berrien County Treasurer will be there. You can come, you can live anywhere in Berrien County and come and make a payment plan with her or to understand better what's going on. So you have until March 31st to pay. And these properties have been behind, and this is the third year. Not until the third year does it go into the sale. So people know we spent over $100,000 on mail, sending, signed receipt requested and sticking things on doors and all kinds of ways so that people know. And so I wanted to bring that information to you. And this Michigan homeowners, and that's what I told you about a couple of months ago about that, where you can get help through FEMA, paying mortgages and taxes and utilities and do all that you can to keep your property. This is a valuable community. It was, and it is. You see that. So please don't let this get away from you. Do all you can to purchase some of this property. Do all you can to keep it. I thank you for this opportunity. Have a good day.
Thank you. And just for the record, since the county commissioner mentioned the Spark grant, Hall Park did receive $958,000 for phase 1 for restoration project. That's a little over $3 million. So we intend to beautify, rehabilitate that park as well. This brings us to the next item on the agenda, which is not shown, but we do have our water consultant here with us, John Young, to give us a presentation. There are no objections from the council. I yield the floor.
You want the mic first?
So I'll take the mic, I guess. So thank you all for the opportunity to update you on some of the challenges we've had with the water crisis. I'm going to give you an update of where we are and where we're heading. Way I look at it, we really have, three phases of the challenges. One was, the first phase was really the public health challenges we had, and we've addressed those. We've got the lead service lines out. We've made renovations to the treatment plant. The water quality leaving the plant is really good. We have to spend a little bit more money on plant reliability, but we have our arms really well around the public health issue. And obviously public health is number one. And then the second step was to address, and this was in the EPA order, what the future water department would look like. And we submitted the alternative analysis report a little over a month ago. And that report basically said we're going to keep our water plant. We're going to staff it, hopefully in the future, with Benton Harbor employees. It'll take a little bit of time to get there, but I think it's where everybody wanted to end up at the end of the day with respect to what the water department looks like. So that's the number two step. And with that step, we've pretty much addressed almost everything in the EPA order. So we would hope that within the next month or so, EPA will be out of the picture, looking over our shoulder, and then we'll just simply have to work with the administrative orders associated with the state. Now, the third step is a reminder, this is the challenging step. We have to submit a report on March the 10th to the state, Eagle, addressing how we're actually going to implement what the water department will look like in the future. And we need to address technical issues, staffing issues, and financial issues. And we have some challenges associated with that. And we're here tonight to briefly talk about that. We'll be back on March the 6th with a written version of the report for you to go over. But tonight we want to just kind of give an update and maybe get some feedback if you'd like to give us some feedback. So I'd like to have Elaine maybe to just go over some of the early findings, and I'll talk a little bit about the recommendations we have moving forward.
Sure. Is this on? I don't know if it is. I'll just talk loudly. So I think it's probably not a big surprise to everybody up there, but there is a pretty large gap between the water system revenues and the water system expenses, what it actually takes to keep it staffed properly, to keep it producing water reliably, to continue to maintain it, and everything that's involved in that. And there's some fixed costs. There's a lot of costs that really can't be reduced. We did take a hard look at can any costs be reduced, and there's not much reduction really that we were able to find. So we worked with a financial advisor to kind of come up with some options and how to close that gap. And there's a couple of things that can be done. The first thing is to really focus on improving the collections rate and having the ratepayers pay their water bills. I know that's been a challenge with the pandemic and also with the quality of water historically in the last couple of years. Hopefully now that that's resolved, we can kind of get back on track to the way things were before the issues became known. So that's one thing. The other thing is there's a couple different things that you might be able to do. Put some of the kind of general fund expenses, including like the pension amount that is being paid out of the water fund for water employees that have retired that were promised a pension, back to the general fund, but then you've got to increase your general fund revenue. So that's not really increasing your revenue, it's just sort of transferring where that money's coming from. Another thing that we looked at doing is increasing water rates. Now, to increase the water rates enough to close that gap completely it's a large increase. So it's not really affordable to do that. So we're looking at kind of a four-pronged approach, and we'll discuss this in more detail at the March meeting, but getting those collections rates, having people pay their water bills is very important. Looking at what is an affordable water rate for customers, And then the biggest thing is going to be requesting an investment from the state to really help close that water revenue gap.
Yeah, we believe that your current rates are probably at the affordability level right now. We don't see any substantial revenue adjustments or revenue increase coming from the residents of Benton Harbor. The $42 estimated average bill here is probably at the affordability level. So we really need the state to step up, and we really need the water customers to step up and pay their bills. And we think if we can sell this to the state, we'll basically give you the manual to take to the legislature and say, here's all we can afford. Here's what we need. And if we don't get this, we're going to have some potential financial issues. But the report that goes out on the 10th will basically become the reference book you need to go to the legislature and get the money. That's the answer.
Are there any comments, questions from the panel? Chair recognizes the Personnel and Finance Chairman, Commissioner Isom.
So what is the shortfall of between the utility fund and what we need to, how much we need to make up every year?
The revenue is about half of, I mean, the revenue is about half of the operating expenses. It's probably somewhere around $2.5 million a year.
It's another question.
Which, by the way, you have to take money out of the general fund to achieve that.
And now the water is good coming from the water plant, since 99.8% good. And July, we're looking at another ACO increase, right?
Right. And we think that, with that increase, we think you'll probably be right at the affordability level. So the revenue gap is really can't be achieved through increasing water rates within Benton Harbor. It really needs to be achieved by getting grant money for operating costs. This is grant money, not for capital projects. We need it to basically fill the hole for operating costs from the state. And because we can't go much longer supplementing the gap with general funds.
Right. And this is a good way that we can show the state that we're trying to alleviate all this, right?
Yeah, I think the major goal of this commission is probably put practices in place that really gets the collection level back up to where we need it. The first step was to get the water quality right. You can't expect people to pay for water that's deficient. But now that the water is good, get that collection rate back up, and then fill the gap with money from the legislature.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Henderson and Commissioner Sims.
I just have one question about the fixed costs. You discussed the fixed costs that have to be addressed. Would you talk just a little bit about what those look like for us?
The fixed operating costs?
Fixed operating costs.
I'll take a shot at it and you can say when I'm wrong. So the water systems have probably about 80% of their costs are fixed. In other words, it doesn't make a difference how much water you're putting out. You still need to have the historical costs, which is like the pension costs that you have from employees who are, many of which are not working anymore. That's a fixed cost. The labor cost, it really doesn't make any difference whether you're putting 1 million gallon out of your treatment plant or 3 million. It's still going to be the same labor costs associated with it. And there's your debt costs that you have for the money you borrowed to put things in the ground. So all of that is fixed. You have variable costs maybe on chemicals and power, but
That's
other than
pretty
those
small.
two, there's very little variable cost. It's going to cost you pretty much the same regardless of how much water you're selling. So obviously we need to get some funds from the legislature to carry us through the next decade while we grow the city, while we put additional customers, and then the revenue increases. But it's not going to happen overnight, and we need help to buy us a few years to get that growth.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Singleton.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I heard you mention 2 million is the gap as we call it, underfunded.
The difference between the revenue we're bringing in and the operating costs of the system.
And then the general fund basically now is filling in that gap. And if we continue to do that, from my estimates, in about 3 or 4 years, we'll be in the hole with the general fund.
That's why we need to get this report done on the 10th, and you need to take this report to the legislature and see what you can get for us. This is we don't have a do nothing option.
So I think that, and this is not necessarily the platform, but the hidden hand in some of this is what happened to the water system under emergency management. When you lose all of Benton Township, our contract with Whirlpool, which was for another 8 years at that time, over $100,000 a year, was basically just severed. The contract was severed, and all commercial, all residential water customers, St. Joe Township as well, was lost. And the city went from pumping, prior to emergency management, over 5 million gallons per day to after that, now just 1 million, if that, gallons per day. So that's where it's difficult, even if residents pay the water costs, when you lose that level of revenue in that short amount of time without growth. And that wasn't a self-inflicted wound. That was a state of Michigan inflicted wound by the administration of Governor Snyder. So what happened to Flint impacted them, the emergency management, one way, but it impacted our system another way. And I think that it's only right that the state of Michigan at this time, with the Whitmer administration, with the legislator that we have in place now, I'll be going to the Speaker of the House, Governor, Lieutenant Governor, our state representative, to plead and bring our case before them. Because I'm saying it right here, right now, raising rates is not an option for me as the mayor of the city. We need support, we need help, but we do need to increase in our collections. But as it was stated, the water quality has to reflect what the people are paying for. So I hope to be with some of those officials on Monday this coming week. Chair recognizes Commissioner Adams.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. This is a lot. This is a lot, and it just didn't happen when we went into the state of emergency. And what people don't know and understand is that Benton Harbor and Flint just aren't the only ones. This is happening all across the nation to all of our filtration plants. There are people that have been lobbying the legislators, and they're lobbying as we sit here and speak now. And they're going to continue to lobby because it's hitting the most poorest, impoverished communities across this country. And Benton Harbor just happens to be one, coming out of the state of emergency and having our lead lines fixed. It's a lot. It's a lot when you don't have the money to put into a system that it takes so much to operate. I just think it's sad that our neighboring communities bailed out on us and would not work with us to find a better solution that would work for all of us. We can share our sewer, distribution, but not our water source. It's a lot, and we just ask everybody to be patient with us, give your input, any ideas. We just need to create more jobs, create more customers, build on our base. It's going to take
Right.
all ideas that we can come up with. But legislatively, this is how it's gonna have to happen, because the money just isn't in any of our pockets, period.
Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I do concur with you that raising the water rates is not even an option. I think that better serve our residents. There needs to be a little retribution, however, Governor, I know we talk about this every meeting. They had the water credits or whatever they gave to other people to pay for that. The thing that's the difference between Benton Harbor and what happened with Flint is now those water bills are placed on people's taxes. So you're gonna get them one way or another unless the people's house foreclosed, because the water bills are, as we know, they are on taxes. So my question becomes to this body, how can we, I know we got new buildings going up, I know we got new partners going up, but there has to be some kind of way, whether if the filtration is like the other filtration that's on these water bottles that are in Walgreens, that say other municipalities, and the state of Michigan. Most of these water bottles read somewhere in the state of Michigan. It's not like this reverse osmosis. Is our quality of water to a point that we can do something like this, even if we start taking tankers of water to somebody else and selling the water to whoever, Aquafina, Nestle, or whoever want to buy the water? But is the water quality of the city of Benton Harbor equivalent to, I don't know what's on that bottle there that Commissioner Eisen got, but I guarantee it says somewhere in the state of Michigan, a municipality, if you're having trouble with the water. So it's not even going after the company for the water, it's going after the municipality for the water. Can you speak to that through the chair?
Yeah, I mean, the water quality that we produce out of treatment plant meets, all the regulatory requirements that the state and the federal government has. If you take a look at the bottled water, it'll talk about reverse osmosis or membrane treatment or whatever. That is an additional step beyond what is done at the Benton Harbor treatment plant. So generally, if water comes from municipal supply, it goes to a facility, the Nestle's or the Cokes or the Pepsis and they put it through an additional treatment process. They also take the chlorine out of it. You need chlorine in your water because as the water goes through the pipes, you have to make sure there's no bacteriological growth within the pipe. When they put it in a bottle, obviously they're not running it through pipes. So they're actually taking some of the minerals out through reverse osmosis, but they're also taking the chlorine out because they don't need it there. So that's the two major steps. So it would be a good start, but it wouldn't be the water that they would put directly into a bottle.
Thank you.
And just lastly, when Senator Peters was here, he did ask about what else was needed as far as finances, funding for our water filtration plant. He also talked about one solution, which is growth, where the more people we have paying into our water system, whether it be commercial or residential, the less in the burden would be on those already paying. And that would be an increase in revenue to help with operating costs. So thank you, Mr. Young, for your report, and I'll have the March representative.
Thank you. We'll be back on the 6th.
Thank you. Pardon me, F&B.
It's okay.
This brings us to the next phase of our agenda, which is the citizens' comments or public participation. You can register with the city clerk, and she will call you accordingly to the sign-in sheet.
Derek Smith.
All righty. Thank you for having me, y'all. Today, this is my first time being here. I'm sorry to say that, too. I should be coming more. Okay. My name is Derek Smith, and I grew up as a Seventh-day Adventist church. And I have relatives who have switched over to the Muslim religion. So I started reading and studying to see what their beliefs are. Now, this book right here gives you everything that you need to know that ties this to the Holy Bible. So in the Quran, it says that I am the true creator of life. I am the true creator of the heavens and the earth. If you tell me that you would die for me, that you will find me most gracious, most merciful, and oft forgiving. So I was at my great-grandmother's house. On the front porch, I have her hospital chair that they gave her because of her old age. I smoke cigarettes. So I put 2 of my ashtrays on top of her chair. I was smoking a cigarette. I'm talking to the Lord because I'm a believer. When I'm reading this, I'm like, Lord, is this actually you? Yes, I would die for you in the name of Allah. When I say he knocked my ashtray down on the ground, man, I looked and saw that. I took my shirt off, laid it on the ground, put my knees down, and bowed to him. When I got up, he touched me. When I say I felt something going all around my body inside of me, I didn't get scared. Touched my heart and everything. I didn't get scared. I ran out. I told my girlfriend what had happened, and I started telling other people what had happened, right? Some of them believed me, some of them didn't. A lot of them wanted to argue with me. So as I kept reading, it was telling me to go on camera and tell the world how much I believe. So when I was on Facebook, I saw one of my friends that I went to school with. He believes in the scientific theory. So I read everything that he said about it. I read the comments and everything. So I went on live, on Facebook Live. And I let them know that, yes, God is real. And he's all the way real. And I feel like the Christians and the Muslims should come together in one nation, like it says in the Bible. And I feel like it will help the community. It help. All I need is what we are going through, because when you combine the Christians and the Muslims together, you will bind churches together. And when you bind churches together, you will see that we can eliminate a lot of these churches that will help the community, because we'll have more room and more money to do more things, because we're doing the righteous thing. And doing the righteous thing, righteousness comes out of doing righteousness things. So I came to Brother Muhammad at his job, and I talked to him. He invited me today to come let everybody know that this is all the way 100% real, true. God tells no lies. I want to show my experience to everybody so everybody can see that this is the truth. And I would like for it to be inside churches, because there's a lot of people that don't know.
But thank you for your testimony at the city council, and we'll be in touch. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. You need my number, I'll most definitely give it to you.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, mayors and honorable mayor and commissioners. I'm here for 2 reasons. One of the reasons is April 8th, we are doing our annual community-wide Easter egg hunt. We invite you to purchase a dozen, well, not plastic eggs, and candy, and help support us. It's a community event. Last year, we believe we had about 200 kids or more. We gave out 30 bikes, and we're just wanting to make this something where our kids don't have to go to St. Joe or Stevensville. They can enjoy their own community parks and do something in their own backyard. This weekend, I just want to also thank Commissioner Adams, Isom, Mayor and Henderson, and Mayor Pro Tem Seats for attending the Black Summit. We've had leaders throughout throughout the state of Michigan, former mayors and activists, county commissioners from Kalamazoo. And we were at the college, and it was enlightening. One of the words that stick with me is Black folks look at nonprofits and white folks are looking at political action committees. And when you just hear about the water issue, we need to get to lobbying, and we need to do what we need to do instead of looking for charity. It was just very enlightening to see, and we are excited about next year, and we just want to say thank you for supporting. For those of you that could not attend, we did give you the program, which features several businesses, and the cover showcases municipalities throughout South Michigan and Benton Harbor. You see the old burying homes and everything. So if you look at it real deep, you can see the tribute to Benton Harbor. So that's it, and we just want to say thank you so much.
Thank you.
Emma Kennard.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I want to first of all speak on the water issue again. And it was updated on 2010, as I remember. And it was to update that particular water plant and bring it up to standards and up to date during that time. That's what I remember. And then later came on that a water increase. And just one thing after another. And just last week, Amamarsh came and said they had gotten grant money towards a filter. And I did ask the question, or once we get the filters done from the monies that you just getting in, will it be completed? He said, no, that wouldn't complete it. There would be more money needed. When will we ever stop sinking money into one thing? Who is following the direction of what we're getting for our monies? This is what I'm trying to understand. And they're constantly pouring money into the city. I imagine there's more money than a little bit comes into the city, but we don't know. It just leaves out just as a water leak. It just goes through the city. So I need to see that we have more accountability with where our money is going. And I can see where it's going. One of the things, we keep the financial manager, and that's a part of your make up the big part of your city is that financial manager. And you all promised me that you was trying to get you were getting the right person, the reason that you hadn't had one in years. Then you get this one in, and he's not able to get what he needs in order to do his job. And then they try to make him an excuse, any kind of excuse about this man. And what you do, just one after another is having the same problem. So it needs to be looked at. I was always told where there's smoke, there's fire. You better check it. This is happening time and time again. And every last one of you know, if the same things happen again and again, there's a problem there. So you needn't say, well, this happened because this or that and other. There's no excuse for it. It comes here right from the city. And we got 9 voters here. Some of you wasn't here for the beginning of a lot of the things that's happening. But there's a job that you all knock on the doors and say, I want to be a voice for you. And then they don't get what their results. A lot of people are discouraged. That's why you see the city not recovering, because then at the head is not right. If the head is not right, the body's not going to operate right. And your heart is in the center of your body. The community is supposed to be the heart of this. This is the head. The head runs the body. But if the body's in a shabby mood, shabby shape, then the rest of the body is not going to operate right. So the head is what runs the city. But the city of Benton Harbor is not seeing the benefits of what is coming in. We've got to do much better. First of all, you got to get that city, the financial director in here to oversee that money, because I can see right now there's a little sneaky thing going on with this money. You could just look at what's going on here.
Spencer Nesbit.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I would just like to say, I see a lot of things that's going on within the city that has improved. Our mayor is doing a great job as far as I'm concerned. Now, it's your prerogative to believe me or not. I don't care. But that's my opinion about what he's doing and what the rest of it is doing. But there are some things that's going on. I don't know what happened with the city financial director. I don't know whether he was doing his job or whether he wasn't doing his job. But as it was stated last week, there are 9 bosses. And some of them, way we bicker amongst ourselves. You get people that coming into the city that want to stay. They don't want a boss like that. I have worked for people like that in my lifetime. And I would sit down and tell them, say, look, I'm human just like you are. The bickering and stuff is not going to work. You can call it whatever you want to call it. But you fuss and you're fighting and stuff going on all the time amongst yourself. You're not going to ever get anybody to stay here. Whether they want us to come and do a good job, but they come in and see things going.
That's also the same thing can be, people can be want to bring business into the city, which we need a tax base coming into so we can have a steady flow of money rather than waiting on grants all the time. So we can pay our city workers and stuff more than $16 an hour. We need to get some businesses coming into the city, but you all hold that and you sit here and you talk about it. You got to start working together collectively, putting things together to make things work. The other thing that I like to talk about is we have a lot of Section 8 houses. We have people that come in that buy houses, lives in St. Louis, Mexico, whoever. They come in, put a Band-Aid on the house to get the people in, but they don't do anything to keep that house up. So we're talking about building new houses, apartments. What's going to stop those people from coming in, buying those houses and doing the same thing that they're doing right now? You know, yes, I got a nice house. I got a beautiful home in the city of Benton Harbor. I want to live in the city of Benton Harbor. I've been here since 1973. Got a beautiful home there. But I got Section 8 houses right next to me. You go in their backyard, they got everything in there. I spend money in my yard, $400 and $500 a year in my yard every year. I get tired of that stuff. So until we start implementing those codes and things and making sure that these people doing the things that they need to do, because I have no problem calling Section 8 people myself and saying, hey, you got Joe over here in this house. They're not doing what they want to do. You need to come out and start taking a look at this stuff. Until the citizens start doing that, you're going to always have problems. You're going to have problems. And you all need to start doing your job. I know a lot of you saying, hey, election is coming up. Think about it. You might not be sitting in those seats next time. Thank you.
Marvin Haywood.
I think the most important thing that we need to remember, in order to even help the city, you got to know how we got here. We've been following this for 20 years, me and Ms. Kennard. It's been done systematically from the water plant, and you talk about you surprise the people. They don't want you here. This has been going on for 20 years. We talked about this, the takeover of a community. But it seems like everybody act like it's a joke. Now the crows have come home to roost. They've systematically taken you down. I remember when they talked about world-class communities. They opened up the consortium. They brought all the reverends down here. Come on, we're gonna help y'all. All the ones that took that money, they can't speak up on what's real now. You understand me? So when we look at it, we have to look at what started this situation. You understand me? It's millions of dollars that come to impoverished communities, but the money is being captured by other individuals. These are the facts. And people want to act like they don't see what's going on. Cornerstone been capturing money for years around here off the statistics. We talk about all the money that came through this city. We talk about the condition that this city is in. They knew that they was going to shut down and open up different plants. They knew strategically long time ago that all this was going to take place. But y'all sitting here like they was our friends. They're coming in giving us a lot of content, which was a con. They've been doing it for years. You know, we sit here and we act like we don't got people that's smart enough to take this city to the next level. We have to start dealing with truth. And the greatest thing that we have been dealing with is allowing individuals to come in, sell us a dream, and at the end of the dream, fair exchange has always been a robbery. It's been a robbery. And people want to sit here and act like we don't know what's going on. It's crazy. It's been almost $800 million that came through the city of Benton Harbor. But you haven't seen nothing done with the inner city. Nothing. All the money been redirected. It's been redirected strategically. How would you have $1 billion corporation? I remember when the school was $1 million in debt. I went to Dave Whitmore and said, can we get $1 million? He said, why would I put $1 million into a sinking horse? Why I used to say that on the radio? Because that's what the man told me. Jeff Knowles said the same thing. We got income city tax money. We don't even have income city tax meetings no more. No. Why? Anytime we're dealing with our money, how is it that we allow other people to come in and dictate how we gonna handle our money? It's just, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's time for new leadership. People got to have courage to stand on the truth. It's two things you wake up with every day, a chance and a choice. What you do with your chance is your choice. You understand me? But we got to have courage. How are we going to save the city if we don't know how the city got in the condition it's in? And I know how I got here. I'm not scared to tell the truth, but the truth is the only thing that's going to save us. We can't believe in nobody else. And in order for you to go to Lansing and get any kind of money, They got to know that it's gonna be put in the right hands. Facts. They'll give me 400 million before they give it to a lot of y'all, because they know one thing about me. My word mean everything. And that's all we got is our word. That's it. It's facts.
Thank you, Mr. Hayes.
No more comments.
I got a question though, man. I gotta ask.
So this brings us to the consent calendar items. Are there any items that should be separated or should the consent calendar be
Is this the time I can make a motion?
voted on as is?
Is this an opportunity, Honorable Mayor, that I can relinquish council?
Is there a motion for the approval of the consent calendar?
Motion.
So move.
Motion's made by Commissioner Singleton, their support. Supported by Commissioner Henderson. Madam Clerk, Commissioner Edwards, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Consent calendar.
Yes.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
I'm sorry, I lost track of what we were voting on, and did I get an opportunity to pull something out of the consent?
This is on the consent calendar.
Oh, okay, then I would like to pull.
It's already, the vote is already on the floor.
What did y'all do? Did y'all have some kind of conversation? What happened? Okay, no.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
This brings us to staff comment. Chair recognizes the Director of Public Safety. Chair recognizes our city assessor, Assessor Stewart.
Good evening. I just wanted to make you aware, assessment notices will be out next week. Please open them up right away. Look them over. If you have any questions or concerns, or if you wish to appeal, give us a call. Check and make sure that if you own and occupy the home, that your principal residence exemption is on there. If you're a disabled veteran, that exemption will not show up yet, so that is okay. March Board of Review will be held later in March. The dates and the times for that will be right there on your notice. We do ask that you call to make an appointment so we can have your paperwork ready for you if you wish to do that. That is it. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair recognizes our Community and Economic Development Director and Assistant City Manager, Director Little.
Thank you, Chair.
Chair recognizes our City Attorney, Attorney Rock.
Just a quick status. The city was included in yet another lawsuit, which includes as defendants, all the Michigan State Supreme Court justices, several of the judges in Berrien County, several attorneys. It was a suit that was initially filed in 2010 and was, when the city was not included. It also includes several townships and local municipalities. It is being handled. I expect that it's going to be dismissed very soon. But it was filed in federal court, so it had to be, it has to be dealt with, and it's being dealt with. And again, I expect it to be dismissed within the next month or so. Other than that, nothing to report.
Thank you. Chair recognizes the City Clerk.
No report this evening.
Chair recognizes our Fourth Ward Commissioner, Commissioner Clark Griffin.
Good evening, everybody. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out and just the update of what's going on in Fourth Ward. My next event is March the 25th. You've probably seen flyers. If not, you'll be seeing flyers and on Facebook and probably everywhere. I'll be doing a community giveaway and also a Fourth Ward cleanup that's going on at the same time. It'll be March 25th, starting from 12 to 4. And it's open to the whole community. So, thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Chair recognizes the Third Ward Commissioner, Commissioner Henry.
Thank you, Mayor. I just I wanted to make some comments about the consent calendar. So I'll just take my time to do it now. These contracts that just were approved for different work, there is a certain amount of money, Section 3, which allows us to hire Ben Harbor residents, should be included in both of those contracts. I'm sorry I wasn't able to pull them away from us, but here it is. If Section 3 doesn't allow, then there's another resolution that's been passed by the body that says 25% of the job goes to subcontractors. So I just want the body to know that these contracts that we just approved need to be, the job and the training issues should be addressed. And I'd hate to see the money keep flowing out of the community. Thank you.
Chair recognizes the second ward commissioner, Commissioner Evans.
I'd like to say good evening to everyone. Thank you all for coming out tonight. Love each and every one in this building. And have a good day.
Thank you. Chair recognizes first ward commissioner, Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I'd just like to say thanks to the residents and, for coming out tonight, listening to what's all happening in the city. As one of our residents stated, there are lots of opinions about what's happening and what's not happening in the city of Benton Harbor, but I can truly say over the last several years, there are improvements. They are slow and steadily. We didn't get in this condition overnight. It was 20 or more years of neglect. And so to be able to see progress, to see roads fixed, sidewalks fixed, and we're not finished. Getting large sums of money to come into this community is unprecedented, and it has not happened before, and it's happening now. So some things take a little more time to get done, the things that should have been done, just like most communities throughout Michigan, particularly Black communities that have been disinvested in, specifically infrastructure. There was no money to address those issues. Initially, at the beginning of this water crisis, we had a $30 million unfunded mandate. How are you gonna give a municipality like this a $30 million unfunded mandate? Which means there was no money until this commission and others in this community brought this issue to the forefront and put pressure on the government of the governors to actually bring money into this community. So there was a concerted effort to fix these issues. And there's still a concerted effort to fix many of the issues in our community. There is not an I in team. Neither one of us can get anything done individually. It takes a team to get something done. We all represent one vote, and we can only get things done as a team. We're stronger together. And I believe that, and I've seen that happen, and that is going to continue to happen in this community. We're going to get things done. There's no I. One of us can't do it. It takes a team. So, and I'll say to the community, get involved. There are several committees in this community that need people serving on those boards. The county has lots of boards. The city of Benton Harbor has tons of boards. We need people in this community to serve on those boards. To serve on the county, you just need to live in the city of Benton Harbor or Coloma, any place in Berrien County to serve on those boards. We need people in this community to represent. So I would say if you don't live in the city of Benton Harbor and can't serve on our boards, go to the county and serve on some of those boards. We need to see representation and they need to see that we care about this community, because we do. We wouldn't even be sitting in this room if we didn't care. So everybody in here that's sitting in here listening, really preaching to the choir, care about this community. And I would say, take somebody with you to get involved and to serve, because you can talk about something for 20 years and nothing gets done, but to actually do something is something else. So thank you so much for coming and getting involved, because you are here. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Commissioner at Large, Commissioner Adams.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I'm actually shocked. But there was a lot from my colleague. I want to thank the residents for coming out, those that are viewing from home as well, taking time out of your busy schedule to see how your government is working for you or not. Because sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. Just like my colleague stated, it doesn't happen overnight. I've been down here now for going on 23 years, serving my third term, and I will be running for another. If the citizens of Benton Harbor see fit, then I'm a good enough leader and voice for them to continue to try to work towards growth at where we need to be as a community. I want to touch base on something my colleague, General Lady of the Third Ward, touched base on. I work with a lot of organizations and I'm on a lot of calls with a lot of organizations all over this country that are working on some things for their community. There's some training that's going on that's free, that we need to really be pressing our young people to step up and take the reins of running their own filtration plant. I mean, free classes. If they have to go over to Chicago, to Wisconsin, to these classes, they're scholarships that will pay for it. There's all different types of training. There's going to be a training, and I don't have the flyer, but Project Need Foundation, Let Them Rest, and Team Solutions is hosting an event on the 10th and 11th at the Boys and Girls Club that's offering a certificate for soil sampling, air sampling, you name it. We are really working on some climate changing things that will help to improve the quality of life for us moving forward. I was listening to the young man talking about smoking. I truly believe in God. He had to reveal, it has to reveal itself to one to actually come to know. I come from a family of field workers where it had nothing to do with religion, but everything with spirituality, of just wanting and thirsting to be free as a flesh and blood human being. Religion plays a vague part in the fiber of the earth for some reason. And there's so many different people of different backgrounds, just as there is different languages. I used to study with the witnesses. I've read or tried to read the Quran, but I have studied quite a bit because God set me still in Valley of Decisions for 5 years, and I had a chance to get to know my Creator. And I truly believe that if every last one of those religions, Jewish or whatever, if everybody would take that one strong hold of fiber of exactly what spirituality is and bring it together and come together on one accord, we would really be doing something. Because until then, we're just mere ants going about our business, on earth, just going to and fro, trying to make things work for ourselves. And just like any game, I heard the residents say, the bickering. I would think something was wrong if everybody agreed with me all the time or didn't have some type of disagreement, because I can't be right all the time. And I challenge myself and others that we can find some commonality, some mutual ground to stand on to make things work. And that's what it takes. And sometimes it comes publicly, sometimes you don't hear anything.
Where you do it.
But it's going to happen. It happens nationally. It happens in our households, amongst our children. But it's going to happen as long as we take care of the business at hand. That's what really matters at getting it done. And it's happening slowly, but it's happening surely. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Commissioner at Large Isom.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight and all the citizen comments. The presentation by John and Elaine, thank you for your presentation, showing us what we need to do. We need help. It's one thing, we need help. But, I know this city, we stand together, we stand in unity. I know we can make it through this crisis, through this water. It's a lot. We didn't ask for all this pandemic and all that, but I know And I have hope today that I know we're gonna make it out of it. We're gonna make good out of this. But to get where we going, we got to go through something. And this is what we're going through. We got our lead lines replaced. The water is good. Now we just got to do this collection thing. You know, God is good. We're going to make it through. You know, I went to the cemetery, you know, out there, Crystal Springs Cemetery, just to see, you know, I was at Myers shopping and residents complained to me about it. You know, it's my first time out there in a long time, and I walked out there, you know, I parked. That's a big cemetery. It's big. And it needs attention. You know, it needs attention. This one lady told me somebody was buried out there. They didn't know where they was at. And you weren't supposed to put flowers and lights out there. And, you know, I said, okay, I'm going to take a walk out there and see. So I just walked, you know, and plus it was a peaceful walk. You know, nobody, you know, just walking, reading the name, you know, 1890 and just, but I'm looking at the cemetery. I don't drive across the bridge, my truck. The bridge look kind of dangerous, you know. So the cemetery need attention, you know. Summertime, springtime is coming around the corner, so that needs attention. You know, it's just somebody had to throw out there that we got to stay ahead of the game, you know. Memorial Day is coming, I know it's down the road, but we got to stay ahead of the game. It's like we got to stay ahead of the water game. You know, we did go to the Black Summit this weekend. It was great. You know, we had our own Mayor Pro Tem Seatscope, good speaker, did a great job. A lot of information, presentations, a lot of speaking from different communities, mayors, commissioners, county commissioners. But it was great. It's a good thing. The Black Summit, the first one, it was great. It was great. But Ben Harbor, all we got to do is hold on. Stay together. Expect great things, Ben Harbor. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. God bless you.
Chair recognizes Commissioner at Large Singleton.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Thank the residents of the city of Ben Harbor for coming out, and also those who live in other communities. Thank you for coming out and taking interest in our city. You know, I kind of looked at, thinking back, and I heard somebody mention 2010. You know, those were some trying times. You know, to have your community, you know, taking over all the issues that was facing. You know, and, listening to the young man, you know, talking about the religion and, you know, Christianity and Islam. You know, thought about, you know, back in 2010, you know, made you think about the Valley of the Dry Bones. You know, went through some difficult times, but I think one of them mentioned, said, "Can these bones live again?" And I think this commission, you know, with all the problems that it's faced, you know, even other commissioners who were here, you know, before us. There's several that's been here for the long haul. We're up to 2023. There's a whole lot that happened in this city. This city did come a long way from 2010. A long way, you know, and you know, citizen involvement, you know, making the issues known, you know, things that you like to be see happen. You know, biggest that all things cost some money. You know, the Bible talk about that, about the money. You know, but people stuck in. You know, you know, and I think what our citizens in this community as a whole have to do is see these things through. It take time. Don't keep hitting the reset button. It's like you playing a video game. Just before you get over the hump, get ready to win, you hitting the reset button. You got to start back up over again. You know, see it through. I think it's on a good momentum. You know, things have change in the state legislators, the representatives, the governor. I think we went through these things to, that thing about, God taking you through stuff, to make you stronger, You gotta go through something to, I guess, your blessing, to appreciate your blessing. So, the things that we've been through, it's tough, it's tough, but we went through them, we fighting them, coming out strong. So I think that the conditions are right now to take advantage of what's there, to offer us. But if we blink, if we reset, that opportunity may be gone. So I just like to see the progress continue, see it through. I think in the end, everybody's going to be happy. Well, can't make everybody happy, but I think this community will be a better place. So.
Thank you. Chair recognizes the city manager. Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Dwayne Sears.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I will say I do got something to say. In 2009, there was two men who came, that was running, dressed alike, they would wear some silver suits in the parade, one of the first Juneteenth parades. We were, matter of fact, Father Divine had it, or Pastor Divine. And then we ran out of gas right downtown, but we didn't run out of energy. It was me and the mayor, Marcus Muhammad. I want to say to him personally, I appreciate him stepping up and going to Washington. Lance, it ain't telling somebody behind their back you appreciate them. But some of these same people, I watched them for 24 years, how long, 2009 to 2023. Both our kids' lives that we donated and gave to this city got kicked out of offices, cell phones taken, never stole nothing, never been prosecuted, none of that. But yet every time we get money in, people been gathering money. These are main ones talking about money. And every time money come in the community, they get it. And they utilize it. And it amazes me that we're never satisfied. And since we've been here, this is my co-chair right here, and she can speak to this. If we had never went in some of these arenas, nothing would have came to the city of Ben Harbin. This had to be negotiated. That Emma Hull building over there, they didn't just put Emma Hull's name on there because they picked her name out of raffle. That was said, that needed to be done. These streets that are being named after individuals, that had to be done. So the developments that are going on, the multi-million dollars of development, they didn't just spring up. Somebody had to negotiate them. Somebody had to say, we need this. Dollar Ride still remaining. Somebody had to speak up for Dollar Ride. Somebody had to speak up for the school system. And it wasn't just the school system. But we had so many naysayers, and it happened for the first mayor. I was sitting there with Wilson Cook and watched him get beat to death. James Hightower they put a sentence on him, and then Commissioner Hightower became president. They beat him up. Not a mayor, the president. And all the lead lines out the ground, and we still getting beat up. Remarkable development downtown. Coming to the inner cities. Union Park. So we ain't gonna talk about downtown. Let's talk about Union Park, that they donated. But we can't get the people talking to donate nothing. We got people in this audience right now that give their hard-earned time and money and donate it to the residents and people disadvantaged. And every time we get to this kind of arena, it's a beat up on the city commission who are really trying to help the disadvantaged. We don't want voters to say stop using the water bill when people are putting out with phony and false measurements and telling them this water was bad, and then they go back and the water good. Without a new lead line. So let's really keep track of truth. That young brother said something that's powerful. Truth. Because an organized lie is more powerful than disorganized truth. If you don't believe it, watch everything that's going on. And a lot of times, the reason why people have went against politicians is not because of what they've done, it's because of what they heard. And people give you misinformation in order for you to go against somebody who's doing what they need to do. This ain't no $1,000 job. We were working here for nothing, doing not anything. Didn't have an office, didn't even have a key to the building. And so, to make people feel as if somebody's a robber. Well, we got to answer calls in the middle of the night. This man stayed outside when that water main broke, and they lied and said he dug 80 feet down on the ground and busted it. It's ridiculous. So I'm telling you, citizens and residents of Benton Harbor, stick with the truth, and it's going to win. Because if you listen to these people, they'll make you feel like none of these people on this board, and I work with every single one of them if they're doing something right. Can't none of them say they came to me and I said I didn't want to do it. But I'm not going to sit up here and chase down somebody who record longer than M139 and help them do nothing. So I appreciate it, Honorable Mayor. You know, it's time for this to stop. You know, I hope somebody running after us can do better than us. But you got people talking so bad about Benton Harbor, don't even live in the city. You love it so much, move to Benton Harbor. I get you a free room at Harbor Towers. Thank you, Honorable Mayor.
I'd like to thank all the residents for coming out. I'd like to thank the council for your comments and the citizens' participation. Tonight we approved for $763.44 to replace fire hydrants. Where we will be going on Operation Fire Hydrant Replacement project throughout the city. Some of the hydrants are older than me and have been in the ground for some time. But we're finally getting the funding and the money because it is costly to remove hydrants. But that work is being done. We also approved to have $251,063.50. We're going to start our sidewalk projects for the construction season, because as you all know, that the sidewalks in the city of Benton Harbor, we need much attention. But this is a start in that direction. The city also just recently received, as I stated earlier, we were approved for $958,000. So we look to see a new Hall Park in the making. That park is our largest, but it is one of the few that hasn't received any money. In fact, Hall Park is the only park that has not received any funding, and we know it looks like it. So it's well overdue. But good news is that money is approved and on the way. We want to also encourage residents to fill out the application to have your home inspected for lead. It's already taken place where one home received close to $20,000 in repairs, all windows replaced, doors replaced. Home Depot was just, that's one of the contractors, but they just came and looked at mine, where they're going to be replacing the plumbing as well as the water heater, as well as all the faucets. And then the state will come back and replace the windows and the doors at no cost. The only disqualifying factor is if you don't live in the city of Benton Harbor. But the only part of that is we need the residents to participate and fill out the application, which you can get right there. The city of Benton Harbor is being looked at. You can get the Benton Spirit, where we're being heralded as a national model in Washington, D.C. I was invited to the White House complex to participating. They replaced the lead pipe summit by Vice President Harris, and they invited me to come back this Monday to participate at the White House with President Biden and the First Lady, with a host of national leaders as well as leaders from the state of Michigan. So the city of Benton Harbor will be represented, and I will be hopefully, maybe not in that form, but will be inviting President Biden here to the city of Benton Harbor with support of the council, so he can see the great work and also see First City, hopefully, in a distressed area that is 100% lead-free. That's our goal, and I'll be working with the governor as well in that effort. And we do plan to aggressively have talks and conversations with the state legislators so we can get the support that we need. With that being said, I'd like to entertain a motion.
So motion to adjourn.
Motion is made by Commissioner Adams, supported by Commissioner Isom. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Adams?
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin?
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson?
Sorry, yes.
Commissioner Henry?
Yes.
Commissioner Isom?
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Seats?
Yes.
Mayor Condon?
Yes.